Before we begin, I want to share a resource that can make your divorce process far easier and much less stressful. It's Hello Divorce. Hello Divorce gives you a guided, step-by-step path through your divorce with clear instructions, simple online tools, and support from real legal and coaching professionals when you need it. You get help with paperwork, access to affordable legal advice, and a process that is designed to save you money, reduce conflict, and keep you informed every step of the way. They've created a special page just for Divorce and Beyond listeners. Visit hellodivorce.com/Susan to explore their plans, pricing, and resources so you can see exactly what fits your situation. If you want a clearer, calmer, more empowered way to move through your divorce, start at hellodivorce.com/Susan. Welcome to Divorce and Beyond, a podcast about navigating divorce and what comes next. I'm Susan Guthrie. I'm a divorce attorney and mediator, and for more than 3 decades, I've helped people navigate divorce with clarity, strategy, and compassion. Each episode offers practical insight into the legal, emotional, and life decisions that shape your future. So let's get started. Welcome back, listeners. So for today's episode, if the idea of dating again in midlife feels intimidating, please know that you are not alone. For so many people after divorce, the fear is not about meeting someone new. It is about trusting themselves and trusting the process again. That is why today's guest needs no introduction here. Bela Gandhi has been on Divorce and Beyond many times, and she is truly one of our most popular experts for a reason. Bela brings clarity, optimism, and real-world guidance to a part of life that often feels overwhelming. Bela is the founder of Smart Dating Academy and is known for helping people find what she famously calls the lid to your pot. She took the leap in 2009 and introduced her good partner qualities process to the world, and the results speak for themselves. All the clients who have married through her work, there have been 0 divorces. You've likely seen Bela on Good Morning America or a myriad other shows, or you follow her online where her love for love is unmistakable. Today, she and I are talking about how to move from fear to confidence when dating again in midlife, why dating today may actually be better than it used to be, and how to stop repeating old patterns. So if you have been wondering whether you are ready to date again, this episode is for you. Let's get into it.
Bela, you're back.
I'm back. I'm so excited.
My listener, the Divorce and Beyond family loves their Bela. When they get to their beyond, they want Bela. They want to know how they're going to start that dating journey again. You have been on the show. I went and counted. You've been on the show 6 times already. This is your 7th appearance on Divorce and Beyond.
That is my lucky number.
Perfect, because this is going to be a good one.
Oh, I am so excited. It is my favorite show, and I am always honored to be here with you, and we have so much fun together.
We do, and let's think about that, because dating should be fun. I know that's one of your core concepts. We've talked about it, and we have talked about a lot of different things, right? We are sitting here right now in the middle of peak dating season. Bela's busiest time, the fairy godmother of love, is out there, sprinkling her dust and her magic wand around on all the morning shows. Valentine's Day is coming up. So this is a busy time for you, and yet oddly, it falls right in the middle of divorce season as well. I don't know if there's a reason for that overlap.
It's the new year, new me, right? It could be, from your perspective, like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to spend the holidays with this person again. Come January 2nd or 3rd, the phone for divorce rings. And for dating, to your point, when people have gotten to the beyond, right? New Year's comes along, people are making their resolutions. 48% of American adults are unmarried. So they're making resolutions. I want to get back out there. I want to find love. I want to find the lid to my pot. And this is the year. So they get on the dating apps in droves. So much so that 50 to 80% membership increases on dating apps from December 26th to Valentine's Day.
Right there in peak dating season.
Here we are.
Here we are. Wait, we just passed the Super Bowl of dating, I think. What's the Super Bowl of dating, just to refresh people's memories?
So in general, if you're thinking about dating, Sunday evenings particularly are the busiest app time of the week. So now you've got New Year's Day when people are making their resolutions. And it's like the people that go to the gym. It's like January 2nd, you can't get a parking spot in the gym.
Exactly.
Right? So you've got massive numbers of people on the apps on a Sunday. So now the Sunday after New Year's Day is what we call dating Super Bowl Sunday. So in fact, the apps have it. Not only was Sunday, January 4th or 5th, I can't even remember what the day was.
Because Divorce Day, the first Monday after, is January 5th this year.
Okay, so Sunday, January 4th was dating Super Bowl Sunday, and 8:52 p.m. was the busiest moment of the busiest day. So there's millions and gajillions of messages exchanged on that day. But if you miss that day, it's okay because we're still in peak dating season now.
So you can hold on even if you weren't on in that moment. But we're today going to hone in on a specific demographic for dating. We haven't talked specifically about this group before, but since I was on the Oprah podcast, and that was about gray divorce, and then actually my guest last week was Mary Jane Sweet, who was one of the other guests on the Oprah podcast, who is also a gray divorce coach. And I wanted to talk with you because I know you also do midlife dating. You did a midlife dating love lab recently, right? And it oversold out.
Correct. I think, and midlife, right? The question people would ask me, what is midlife? I'm like, well, it really depends on where you are in your life. So we had people in their 30s all the way into their 70s and 80s on this love lab. It was amazing. So it's kind of the middle of your life. So there's really no age definition. Do you agree with that?
I do, actually, because I think midlife for any of us is that point in time where change starts happening in our lives. We can go through a long period of life where things are relatively similar. Kids may be getting older, or your job may be progressing, but relatively you're in your relationship, you've got your kids moving along, you're doing those things, and then something happens where you have a significant change. In the world I exist in, that change is often gray divorce, right? We know the statistics on that have skyrocketed. And it's really the largest demographic of those who are getting divorced are people who are either in their 50s, some of them are in their 40s, to your point, or who have been married for a couple of decades, right, who have been there. But the thing that I think is different, and what I wanted to sort of hone in on with you to start with, is divorce. I've been a divorce attorney forever, right? And I've had a lot of clients who faced midlife divorce, and a lot of clients who were younger than that or in earlier parts of their lives. And everybody worries about a lot of things. But universally and 100% of my midlife or gray life divorce clients, they may have been worried about money. They may have been worried about their kids. But what they were really worried about was dating after their divorce. They were terrified of the concept. And that's a universal. And I'm just, let's start there. Why? The terror. I mean, absolutely. I had one woman, I will never forget her. She was in tears. It was the ugly crying. It was ugly cry. Susan, you just don't understand how hard this is to do this, to put yourself back out there.
And remember, like what you're talking about, right? We're in the midst of gray divorce, or maybe at the end of it. Divorce for many people feels like the biggest failure they've ever had. And then what happens when we've gone through that? We have so much fear of what? Of it happening again. So now with dating, while people, right, humans want love. They want the lid to their pot. But now, in addition to love, there's so much fear of this happening again. And I think that's where this dichotomy exists, where I want love again, but I am scared to death of ending up in this position all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that makes so much sense, right? Because you're coming off of something, and you said that word failure. There's so much failure, feelings of failure.
And it's not failure.
It is not,
but it
right.
feels at that moment, it can feel like the biggest failure. It can feel like the deepest, darkest hole you've ever been in.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Mary Jane talked about that, the early days of it being hard to even some days get out of bed. You have to, keep your life moving forward. For a lot of people, though, what I hear is the real practical aspects of things like, how am I supposed to get naked in front of someone else now that I'm, 50?
For example.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I'm a divorce attorney. That was not something I had a lot of answers for someone, but I can tell you I've been asked that question many times. Now, I didn't know you in those days. I wish I had. I'd say that's a Bella question, not a Susan question. Back when I dated, it was, meet a person in a bar or get introduced by a friend. It wasn't these apps and all of that. So a lot of people, too, it's just the practical, application of dating is so different today from what many people know from before in their lives.
And you know what I want people to get as they're listening to this is dating is better now than it's ever been.
All right. I like that.
So if you're in midlife, pulling your hair out going, can I do this again? I'm going to tell you what. We romanticize the olden days. Oh, the 70s and the 80s. And remember, you could just go to a bar and meet someone, right? But back in those days, what did we have? We had terms like old maid, old spinster. It's impossible to meet someone on the shelf. Your shelf life is expired. People don't talk about that anymore because of dating sites and dating apps. Now, are they easy to use? No. Have they complicated things? Yes. Okay. But at the end of the day, there are so many more options for dating after gray divorce, dating during midlife than there were ever in the history of dating.
And if I can say to the people who are listening, and there are dating coaches like Bella. There aren't a lot of dating coaches like Bella. There's only one Bella. There is a reason why you are America's favorite dating coach. But I think for so many people that the idea of just getting started is enough to stop them from getting started.
Absolutely. Anytime you feel that pit of fear, right, that's stopping you, blocking you, to some extent, don't let it win. When you feel that uncertainty, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get on a roller coaster right now, that's a sign maybe I should get some help around this, right? Like you said, 20, 30 years ago, there were no dating coaches, right? Because there wasn't this abundance of people that you could meet. Because now that there's dating apps, it's like, oh my gosh, how do I manage this whole dating funnel? But I think that, it can be more exciting than ever at this point.
Well, and it's making me think as you're saying that, right? We didn't have dating coaches back in the good old days, right? We just met people in bars and through our friends or whatever those things are. But I look back on some of the relationships I managed to get myself into, and I'm pretty sure a coach might have helped me avoid a few of those major disasters.
I could have been waving, red flag, red flag.
Pay attention, Susan.
I have a red flag in my office, as you well know, that I wave to clients on Zoom all the time. That is a red flag. So
I like that you come with your own props when you're working with your clients. Red flags, I think you have a beige one.
Yes.
And you do have your magic wand.
I have a magic wand also, right? I am the fairy godmother of dating. So, and that's the thing. And I wanted to share that fairy godmother dust with all of you the fact that love exists for every single person that wants it. I believe this with every cell of me at the deepest levels of my soul. And if you don't feel like love exists for you, I've got enough hope for both of us. So I know that I can hope you into this, right? Hope is the antidote to fear.
Yes. Well, and that's what I was thinking when I realized, this fear around dating, especially for midlife daters, is so directly opposite from what you talk about, which is psychotic optimism around dating, right? That's a Bela-ism that I remember from the very first time we ever spoke. You want your people to be psychotically optimistic, yet I think so many people are feeling fear. So instilling that hope is one of the things I think your magic wand does.
For sure. The first step is that hope. And then the way you feel psychotically optimistic, right, is to have a plan and to know what you're going to do, because part of that optimism is I actually have a game plan and I know what to do and I know what not to do, because I don't want to end up in a divorce again. I don't want to be heartbroken again. So part of where you start to feel the sunlight come back in is, oh my gosh, I know what to do this time around.
And that's got to make people, hopefully give them the hope in the I know what to do this time around. As we have seen, and you and I have talked on other shows, the divorce rate for second marriages is much higher than it is for first marriage. I think first marriages hovers in the 40s. Second marriages, where do we get up to like 67%? Yeah. And then third and beyond marriages, we're at 73%. So that doesn't make you think too many people are learning from what went wrong the first time, but I suspect they didn't have a coach like Bela Gandhi.
Quick pause, because if you have ever thought, I want to date again, but I'm terrified of getting it wrong, you are going to want to stay right here. In just a moment, Bela Gandhi breaks down why those intense butterflies might actually be a warning sign, how to stop repeating old relationship patterns, and what smart, confident dating in midlife really looks like. We're talking red flags, pacing, and why dating today may actually be better than it was years ago. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Listeners, as a bit of a product junkie myself, I am so excited to announce that we have partnered with Blue Mercury, which is your one-stop destination for luxury skincare, makeup, hair care, fragrance, and more, all thoughtfully curated and backed by their expert service. And because you are listening today, Blue Mercury is offering 15% off your first order when you use the special link in our show notes. It's their way of saying thanks for being a part of the Divorce and Beyond family. So just click the link in the show notes, shop your favorites, and enjoy the 15% discount that will be automatically applied to that first purchase. That's 15% off your first order at bluemercury.com. Check your show notes to claim it now.
Human beings are creatures of habit.
Oh, yes, we are.
Okay. And we tend to do what feels comfortable versus what's right. And even though people come to me a lot saying, well, I've read all these books on narcissists, or I know my attachment system and I know what avoidance are. Remember, people think knowledge is power, but the truth of the matter is that's only partially true. Execution is power. Right. Knowing the right information and then doing the right thing at the right time. And that's where we've been really able to build people's confidence and help them, because without that intervention, sometimes we want to gravitate towards someone that feels just like our ex, because that feels like home. It's like, wow, when my clients will say on a first date, like, oh my gosh, it was the best first date I've had, I feel like I've known this person for years.
Butterflies.
And I'm like, you have, because it was your ex all over again. Different phase, different decade. So we're not going to do that all over again.
So, because I've heard you say this before on others, that first date that's so amazing is often a Red flag.
And people don't like this, Susan. People battle me on this all the time when I'm on shows.
I've seen friends do it with you.
100%, where I say butterflies are bad. And people will say, well, my husband gave me butterflies and da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, I am talking about the big butterflies, like you feel like you're getting on a roller coaster. Not the kind of butterflies that you might get before you're going to go on Susan Guthrie's show because you're excited to see her, like the little flutteries, like, oh, I want to make sure I do a good job. This is like, okay, strap in because I know the hill's going up and the hill's going to have a drop again. It's those kinds of butterflies that I'm talking about that are really dangerous. And if you feel like after a first date, when you think about this person, your stomach literally does one of those flips, those 180s, that is bad news. That means this person, this is your body telling you this person is red flagged. This person is giving you anxiety.
Anxiety. Butterflies equal anxiety in those cases.
Run away.
I'm thinking of the robot.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Those butterflies are little robots rolling around in your
and
stomach.
for those of you that are younger than midlife, you might not know that reference, but just say...
Lost in space, folks.
Flipping, yeah, exactly. Your stomach flipping over ain't a good thing.
So let's talk about our midlife daters out there for a moment, because they're saying, well, this all sounds great, Bella. Thanks a lot. I'm starting to feel that there might be some hope out there. But what do I do as I'm sitting here right now? Yes, I can call Bella or go to Smart Dating Academy and get started if you do another love lab or get started coaching. But in this moment right now, if they're thinking about dating, they've opened up the apps, I bet, already and looked at them and then closed them right back up, maybe deleted them from their phone. Where do you even start?
I think the first thing is to have that self-awareness, right? Have I looked at my patterns? Do I know what red flags I've been chronically attracted to, if that's you, right? Do I know how to use the dating apps, right? Do I know what red flags are? Do I know how to do this? So I think really sit down as a first step and say, what do I not know yet? And then start to know those things. And sometimes you're going to have to look inside for those answers, right? What are the things that really make me happy? What are my deal breakers? What do I know that I really want this time around? What are the things that I tolerated? What are the red flags that I ignored when I first started dating my ex that I don't want to do again? So really doing this self-inventory. It's one of the first things that we do with our clients at Smart Dating Academy. But if you're sitting there, I want you to really, instead of just dating from this place of emptiness, from this place of, I just need to get back out there, or even worse, revenge dating because your ex is out there dating, sit down and do the smart thing. And do that self-inventory. What am I looking for this time around? How do I want to feel in my relationship? Versus just focusing on all the quantitative things that the dating apps help us to do. How tall is someone? What is their job? Where do they live? Those are all easy things to ascertain. How do you want to feel this time around?
How do you want to feel? Think about that. Because as you've told me, when you talk to people, and you're talking with them about what they would like the person in their life to be, the qualities that they're looking for. What's the number one thing they ask for, Bella?
Well, Susan, funny that you asked. So I started this company in 2009, and for the past 16 years have been doing an exercise. And I'm just going to say this to women, not picking on women, but when I have asked women, tell me about your dream guy. And this is part of an exercise that we do to really get them to hone in on what we call good partner qualities. So I say, tell me about your dream guy. The number one thing that women say, tall.
I know. Over 6 feet.
Ideally over 6 feet. Okay? Why tall? It took me, every time I would hear that, I was like, but why? What does that mean, right? There are evolutionary instincts, right, as women, right? In 200,000 years, the human brain hasn't evolved much from
Clearly.
where we were as cave people. So we wanted somebody that could protect physically, right? We didn't live in a society of laws. And today, it might mean, okay, we live in a society with laws, Now, why do I want big? Yeah, sort of. That's a whole nother
Different podcast,
episode.
but sort of.
But, maybe it's because I want to feel small. I want to feel thin. I want to feel petite, right? That's why I want someone bigger than me. But really, if tall is on your list, I would encourage you to dig a little deeper for what that means to you and why. I like wearing 4-inch heels. Okay. What does tall have to do with that?
Right. Right. Well,
what
and
does tall have to do with
I like
that?
the aim higher, dig a little deeper and maybe aim a little higher. Kindness. I was watching a Instagram reel the other day, and it was talking about the 3 determining factors of when women are attracted to men. And the first one was a man who's kind.
I love that. And kindness is so underrated.
So underrated.
Right? We do an exercise with our clients called elevator people.
Oh, yes.
And so we recently got it trademarked. I'm so excited. But elevator people, we have them sit down and think about the people in their lives. And this is different for every person. It's very bespoke.
Right.
So I could say to you, Susan, tell me about the people in your life that elevate you, that make you really, really happy. Who are they? And let's really drill into why these people elevate you. And so once we do that with people, we come out with a theme of characteristics that elevate them. I'll tell you what, in 16 years, tall has not elevated one person.
Except for the person who's tall.
Exactly. and I'll tell you that looking for elevator qualities in the dating world is something that people aren't doing. Why? Because we're taught to rely on chemistry. If I'm not feeling it, if I'm not attracted to you right away, I'm going to throw you back to the pond because you know what? In my Tinder or my Bumble or my Hinge or my Match, someone better is just sitting right there. But the answer to that is no. If you have fun with somebody, if the conversation's easy, if they're kind, give it a second date. Sometimes, ladies, the real first date is the second date or the third date or the fourth date. Let someone who is good and kind where you're having fun and has no red flags. Hell, we let a bottle of wine breathe.
Yes.
For an hour before we drink it. But we won't let a date breathe, right? Even if you're not feeling that chemistry can come later in the game. It doesn't have to come right away. There is intellectual chemistry. Mm-hmm. There is emotional chemistry, spiritual chemistry. What woman hasn't developed a crush on someone longer term that they didn't have right away? It's like, oh, I don't know that I think he's that cute. I was friends with my husband for 6 years. Now, I am not asking you to wait 6 years to develop chemistry with somebody.
Well, you had to get, the bad boys out of your system.
100%. But then when you start looking at people with a different lens, I want someone who elevates me. I want someone who has long-term relationship potential and compatibility with me. You suddenly put on this new set of lenses where new people start to become attractive to you and the chemistry can grow. It's kind of magical.
And you know that magic, right? You've done this. You just said 16 years. Let me just point out 16 years, no divorces.
Knock on wood.
Yes, I don't want to jinx that. But as a divorce attorney, we just gave the statistics on divorce in the United States. Many of your clients are second time around or midlife daters, right? You have a lot of your clients come from that pool, and yet no one that has gotten married through working with you has ever gotten divorced. That says an awful lot, just even if you look at this from the statistical point of view.
And let me tell you what I think it is, Susan. We have a framework.
Yes.
We have an education that we teach people. How many of you, did you ever go to dating school when you were young?
God, I wish I had.
You and me both, girl. So we've created that. We've created the system, but it's not just the tactics of the plan. It's actually the coaching as well. Remember what I said before, even with the knowledge.
Yes.
We tend to gravitate towards people that feel comfortable for us. So what I have seen through these 16 years, it's learning the system, but then having a coach, a buddy, a mentor to hold your hand through the process so that people that are following our educational system and have the coach are the people that aren't getting divorces, right? Because we're there week over week saying, that's interesting. I want you to ask him this. Let's clarify that we're on the same page, right? Because if you think about dating from Smart Dating's perspective, there's 4 phases. The first phase, where a lot of you are probably sitting now, is you're preparing to date. Then you get into dating. Right, that's the second phase.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if you follow the process correctly, you get into exclusivity. Now, exclusivity, right? That doesn't mean, hey, we're done. My clients are like, well, what if I meet someone? Do I just put my coaching on hold? Hell no. That's when I want to watch this relationship for 12 months. 12 months, you might think, yeah, okay. Think about if somebody had watched your relationship for 12 months before that knew what they were looking for, would we have gotten into that first marriage or that second marriage? Unequivocally, no. Right? So we watch those until happily ever after. That's how we've been so successful. So there is no 3-date wonder. There is no 3-date rule.
The 3-date rule, I know, drives you a little crazy. The exclusivity for you and in your method, well, that's quite a ways down the path of this. In fact, when you start working with people, they don't even start dating really for quite some time as you're working on the getting ready to date. But going from the dating into exclusivity, that's quite a process as well.
That is a journey where we help our clients build a dating funnel. And for those of you out there listening to this, we're not doing one and done dating anymore. We're not going to get exclusive with somebody after 3 dates, okay? We're going to really have repeated exposures. That's what dating is, to see what this person is like under different conditions. So we recommend don't get exclusive for 15 dates.
15.
Over 3 months, not 15 dates in 15 days.
I was going to say 15, the people are going to like power through it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and this is while you're concurrently dating other people. I'm not talking about sleeping with all these people at the same time. I'm saying dating. My advice is don't get too physical too fast. Everybody knows themselves. But when we're hooking up with people, we're flooded with attachment hormones. Again, we haven't evolved much as humans in 200,000 years.
As much as we think we have.
Chemistry is nature's way of tricking us into attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? You sleep with somebody, you have an orgasm, you're flooded with oxytocin, right? So even if this person is coded in 1,000 red flags, you're like, I want him to call me tomorrow. It's because now you're attached to somebody that isn't worth your time, right? Take it slow. Have a dating funnel. Have multiple options. It's like if you were interviewing for jobs, right? You would want a variety of interviews. You'd want to interview really well, and you'd want to have a variety of offers so that you could pick the one that most aligns with what you want for your future. Dating is the same way.
I was just going to say, this kind of sounds like the same thing.
Yes, yes. But again, we're not taught how to do this. We're shamed for not knowing how to do this. And the first thing I wanted to tell you this is if you're feeling like your picker is broken, you haven't picked the right people, you don't know how to do this, you're coming out of divorce, shame sucks. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Nobody was ever taught how to do this. And so guilt on top of grief, shame on top of grief is what keeps us stuck. This last year was the year of the snake. This is the year of the horse. Let's molt that old janky skin off of us of shame. This is not your fault. This is your year to gallop like the stallion that you were created to. Get rid of the shame, get rid of the guilt.
It's time to move forward.
Absolutely.
Into that beyond, right?
Into the beyond, yes.
That's like I like the horse galloping off into the beyond with you on the back, hopefully.
Yes,
everyone.
absolutely. Right next to you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you, let your horse break a leg or two.
So let's wrap it up with some final tips and advice for those midlife daters, because I know you do entire programs that are just focused, because you could have people who come to you, I know that you get them, and they've been out there dating on their own for a while. It's just not going how they want. And so they come to Bela. But midlife daters, or those who are post-divorce, post-gray divorce, who are the people likely listening here, they've been in a relationship for a couple of decades. And they thought it was the relationship in most cases that they were going to be in for the next couple of decades. And they were never going to have to do this again. What do you tell those people?
Sit down and do that self-assessment.
Okay.
Sit down and know what you have to have this time around, how you want to feel, and what the red flags are you will never, ever ignore again. And then put together a dating plan, okay? And the plan can involve 3 pipelines: meeting people on the apps, then meeting people in real life, put
Going
your
to
phones
bars.
away,
No, I'm just kidding.
go to bars, talk to people on the bus, smile at people on the street, go to meetup groups, find things that you're interested in exploring, learning, go meet people. And then the third one is have the super connectors in your life set you up. What are super connectors? Your friends that know a lot of people, that like connecting people. Tell them that this is your year of the horse. This is your year that you're willing to gallop into your new future, and you want them to set you up with somebody. Have a dating plan. Don't just enter this willy-nilly.
You know, we plan so many things in our lives, and in my other world, I do a lot of consulting with businesses, and we're all about right now in January and February, you know, business plans for the year and all. And I'm always talking about the importance of having a plan. Was it Benjamin Franklin? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Absolutely.
Right. And it's the same thing here. This is something that you want to be successful at. And so having that plan, following those steps you're talking about is the way. I mean, clearly, you know, you're America's favorite dating coach for a reason. You know how to get them there. But if they were to wanting to talk or work with you, I know one resource is the Smart Dating Academy podcast. I've been very excited to be on that podcast a couple of times.
You
but
sure have.
What other resources do you have on the website, and how do they work with you?
So you can come to our website at smartdatingacademy.com. There's lots of great things to read, to listen to see that will inspire you and educate you. And you can see stories of people that were just like you. You can hear those on our podcast. And you can go to my Instagram at Smart Dating Academy, where we're posting on a daily basis things that, you know, might make you laugh, might make you cry, will educate you, all of the above.
I love your Instagram. I'm one of the first people to tap the double heart every morning when I see it, but you always drop some great tips. My other favorite place to see you, I have to say, Bella, is when I wake up in the morning, I'm drinking my coffee, I flip on the TV, and there's Bella on Good Morning America or one of those. I never know when I'm going to turn it on. Do you have any appearances coming up?
Well, I just had one January 21st, so I'm sure that you'll see it on my Instagram or on the website. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at smartdatingacademy.com. Just fill out a contact form and you'll be on our list. But yes, it's very fun to do GMA and these morning shows. And what I love most is when you and I get to do shows together.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny. I posted the one for Chicago today just the other day, and it was like it was brand new. Talking about divorce season and dating after divorce, and here we are doing it again.
And I'm sure there will be more.
Hopefully. I know we will be talking again. So thank you so much, Bella. As always, my listeners absolutely love to hear from you, and I couldn't enjoy it more. So thank you, friend.
Thank you for having me.
I always love visiting with Bella. And before we wrap up, I want to put together a few of the golden nuggets from this conversation because honestly, there's so much here worth sitting with. So first, if dating again in midlife feels scary, that does not mean you're broken. It means you are human. Fear often shows up not because you do not want love, but because you care deeply about not repeating past pain. Second, dating today is not worse than it used to be. It's different. And in many ways, it is better. You have more options, more visibility, and more agency than ever before. The challenge is learning how to date intentionally instead of reactively. Third, pay attention to what your body is telling you. Those intense butterflies that feel like a roller coaster are actually often anxiety, not chemistry. Calm, ease, and consistency are far better indicators of long-term compatibility than instant sparks. Fourth, confidence in dating does not come from luck or timing. It comes from having a plan. Knowing your patterns, your red flags, and how you want to feel in a relationship changes everything. And finally, midlife dating is not about being chosen, it's about choosing well, slowing down, giving connection time to develop, and trusting that you do not need to rush into exclusivity creates space for healthier relationships to grow. If there is one takeaway to remember, it is this: dating in midlife is not about starting over, it's about starting smarter. If today's conversation resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on what you heard and what you might want to do differently moving forward. And if you want to go deeper, be sure to check out the resources, the blog, and the downloadable resource that are linked in the show notes. So stay with us and return next week for another episode of Divorce and Beyond. If today's episode helped you see something more clearly, take a moment to reflect on one insight you can carry forward, one decision you can approach differently, one next step that feels more grounded. Divorce is not a failure. It is about facing reality and choosing a healthier path forward for yourself and your family. You can find show notes, trusted divorce resources, and expert guidance at divorceandbeyondpod.com. If this episode was helpful, follow the podcast and share it with someone who may need support right now. I'm Susan Guthrie. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next time with more clarity, insight, and support on Divorce and Beyond.